Hey everybody, it's Chris Estridge with Estridge Carpentry. It's the end of the year 2017. Today is December 27th. We all had a great year, had a great Christmas, and thanks to all of our faithful customers, we had a really good year building decks. We built 124 decks this year, which was amazing for us. We had 5 crews going every day building decks. We did a total of, I believe there was 36 or 38 refaces in that total. So we had a great year. We sold a lot of Fiberon this year. Fiberon was our best supporter. They really came to bat for us, brought the products in that we needed, you know, that the customers wanted, the collars that everybody wanted. 84 Lumber has been stocking it for us. Fiberon is the manufacturer. We got a relationship with 84 and with Fiberon, so that's been a real good one for us. We still do a lot of TimberTech, a lot of AZEK, a lot of Trex. We do Tamco decking, decorators decking. So there's lots of different decks out there in decking. We do a lot of treated lumber still. Anyway, I'm going to come into the picture now. Wayon, my son's taking the video. He's been showing you guys some of our product lines. I'm going to come into the video and talk a little bit about our products that we're going to be offering this year. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the frame of your deck and what to look out for if you're going to reface your deck or should you replace. So it's going to be decks, replace, or reface. We'll talk a little bit about that and what to look for on your frame, if your frame is good enough to do a reface, or should you go ahead and demolish the whole thing and put up a new one. So, alright guys, I'm coming into the picture now. Like I said again, I'm Chris, the owner of Estridge Carpentry. I want to thank everybody for a great year in decks. Like I said, we did 124 decks this year. It's been an awesome year, and if it wasn't for you guys, then I wouldn't be here right now. So thanks again. I want to let everybody know we are going to be at the Home and Garden Show, Cincinnati Home and Garden Show this year. We're going to have a booth. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. Still got guys out there December 27th building decks right now. But I'm going to be at the Home and Garden Show. I'm getting ready to build a deck that we're going to take up there with us and set up. It's going to have a couple colors of Fiberon on it. And it's going to have, one corner is going to be a pergola, and the other corner is going to have a little roof area. So we did a lot of decks with roofs. You can see what the roofs look like. Pine cone groove underneath. I'll probably throw a can light or a light under there just to kind of give it some accent. Come and check us out. I'll let you know what booth number we're going to be at. But if you're at the Home and Garden Show, browsing around, look for Estridge Carpentry. So the first thing I want to talk about is the product line that we're going to be kind of pushing this year. 84 Lumber has decided to bring on a lot more of Fiberon. They're going to stock a lot more collars for us this year. They kind of went off of what our best collars were last year, what everybody's favorite stuff was, and that's what they're going to be stocking this year. So we should be able to give you guys pretty good pricing on this stuff. So make sure you hit us up. Let us know what you like, and if it's not Fiberon, that's fine. We still got resources for TimberTech, AZEK, Trex, decorators, Tamco, all that good stuff. So the Fiberon, the baseline Fiberon is the Good Life series. The 2 colors we're going to be having in the Good Life series this year is going to be the Cottage Gray. So we got Cottage Gray wound if you want to zoom in on that. We got a little bit of relief out of the bottom of this board. It's got a 3-sided cap. The bottom's not capped composite. The top and the 2 sides are. It's got a groove cut into the sides. So we got Cottage Gray and we got Cabin. Those are the 2 colors of the Good Life series. Those are going to be your most economical choices. If you're looking for something, you don't want to use wood, but you don't have a lot of money to spend, these are a great option to get into some composite without breaking the bank. So again, we got Cottage Gray and Cabin, the 2 colors that are going to be out there this year for the Good Life series. I can still get Villa, that's the other color, but it's a special order, so it's going to be a little bit more pricey than these 2 colors. So let's jump into the Protect. We got the Fiber Round Protect series. We got the color Gray Birch. This was a big seller this year. We had a lot of Gray Birch decks. If you take a look at our website, and you should be able to pick out the Gray Birch decks. It's the gray colored decks that have a lot of character. So that's the Gray Birch. It is a 3-sided composite, but it doesn't have any relief out of the bottom. It's a full, full board, no relief out. Beautiful color, a lot of grains, a lot of detail on this board. Really good looking board. The other one here, I've got the Horizon Series Ipe. Ipe was probably number 2 or 3 on the favorites list this year. Really cool color. It's got a lot of grain variance in it. It's a 3-sided board also. Or no, actually, it's a 4-sided. So you could actually flip this board over and use the other side. If you got a bad side or something, you can flip it over, use the other side. It's capped on all 4 sides. So this board here is capped on all 4 sides, and the rest of the boards I'm going to show you are going to be capped on all 4 sides. So this is kind of your middle of the road prices right here. We got Ipe and Gray Birch. Now let's jump into the Symmetry collection, which is their higher end collection here. And we've got, I'll show you the favorite color of the year here, Cinnabar. This has been by far the most favorite color this year. We've installed a bunch of these decks with a Cinnabar, and most of the time when they do the Cinnabar, it'll be a Cinnabar with a burnt umber border, and this is the burnt umber in my right hand, Cinnabar in the left, and the burnt umber was probably the next to the favorite of the Cinnabar. The burnt umber is a nice dark color. Cinnabar has a little reddish tint to it. Cinnabar looks really good with brick against brick. Vinyl siding, stone, looks good a lot of places. So we got burnt umber, we got Cinnabar, and we have warm sienna. So those 3 colors in the upper series are going to be available in stock. So we'll be able to sell it to you at a stocking price. We're buying through 84 Lumber at this time. They are stocking it, which gives us a better price. We pass it over to you, give you guys a better deal on everything. So those are the colors that we're going to be looking forward to installing a lot of in 2018. And we did a whole bunch of work in 2017. We're looking forward to doing more in 2018. I did hire a sales guy, Jay Bradford. He's going to be doing a lot of sales. I'm still going to be out there myself, getting out there talking to customers, selling jobs, but also Jay's going to be out there too. It's getting to the point where I got to have help. So I've got Jay helping me out, really good guy. He actually came from medical sales. He knows some about construction. I've taught him a lot about construction. He's a really good guy, honest, fair, and he'll do what he can for you. Real responsive, great guy to have on my team. If you need anything and Jay can't answer your question, then Jay will come to me, or you can come to me, and I can definitely answer any questions you have about anything that needs done deck-wise. So here again, we're talking about the Home and Garden Show this year. We are going to be hoping to be on the main stage at the Home and Garden Show, so it'll be Jay and myself, at least. Maybe we'll have some more help up there too to take off some of the heat. But we're going to be doing we're going to be speaking about decks, reface or replace. So when you're looking at your deck and you're deciding, like I said, we had quite a few decks this year where we did the reface, where that is basically you strip off the flooring, you strip off the rails, and a lot of times you'll take the stairs off, leave the frame, leave the support posts, leave the ledger board, floor joist, and then put a new decking down, put new rails on. Usually we'll wrap the outside of the deck with a new board and then new stairs. And you're saving some money. It's not, people tend to think they're saving a ton of money by doing that. It's not an astronomical amount of money in the frame. It's more labor than it is material in the frame, but you really need to weigh out your options when you're thinking about just doing a reface. Your frame needs to be in pretty good shape, especially if you're going to be putting down composite or PVC, aluminum rails, products that are going to last 30 plus years. You've got a wood frame already most of the time, and if you're putting a 30-year product on a wood frame that's already got 10 years on it, you're probably going to be better off replacing that, because the wood may be 20, 25 years tops. That's on your frame. So your frame is going to fail before your composite. So we got to think wisely about making those types of choices. So I am going to talk to you about a couple different kinds of frames. There's two types of frames that we see in the Cincinnati area, and that's a post frame and a beam frame. So first I will talk about post frame. And right here, I'm going to show a picture, well, I don't know if you can zoom in, of a post frame. So if you're looking at your deck and you had your support post all the way out at the edge of your deck, and your support post ran from the ground all the way up to the rim board, and a lot of times they'll go right on up and that'll be integrated into the rail on a wood deck. So basically, if your posts are all the way out to the edge of your deck, you probably have a post frame deck, which is okay, but a lot of times we like to do the beam frame, because I'll show you in a minute what the beam frame looks like. When you do the post frame, if you're going to strip off the rails and everything off of this deck and do a reface, then you're going to be cutting these off right here. And when we go to put our new post in, we're not going to be able to drop them down in, because your old posts are going to be all the way up to the bottom of to the top of your frame. So we have nowhere to drop new post in. So if you have a post frame deck, the chances are pretty slim that we're going to be doing a reface on it. So just keep that in mind. If you want to take a look at your deck, if you're even thinking about doing that, take a look, see if you've got a post frame deck. If you do, chances are you're probably not going to want to do a reface. We like to stay away from the post frame decks. Structurally, they're not as good. They're not going to last as long. I'll show you what the beam frame looks like next, so that you know what to look for and why the beam frame is so much better. So basically, this is what a beam frame would look like. You've got the edge of your deck right here. You got your beam back here. Your beam will usually set about 2 feet back, and your floor joists and everything will be laying directly on top of your beam. Whereas with the post frame, your floor joists come out and attach to this rim board, but there's nothing underneath supporting them. They're just attached to the rim board, and then the rim board is attached to the post. So with a beam frame, you've got two 2x10s. 9 out of 10 times it's going to be two 2x10s sandwiched together, and then they're notched into the post if they're done the right way. And I'll show you, that's how we do them. That's what the right way is to do. There's several different ways. The building department will pass other ways of attaching your post and beam together, but this is what we prefer and how we prefer to install them. So this is a beam frame, and I'm going to show you a different profile of a beam frame here. Let's see here. So right here, if you can see, imagine this is your house and this is your deck sticking out away from your house, and this is your post with your beam cut into your post. So you notch your post, you drop one 2x10 in, drop the other in, bolt them to the post. They can't slide down. It's notched in, so there's no way for it to slide down or move. Once you build this like this, it's there to stay. There's no moving that beam around. And then your floor joists just lay right on top of that beam, so you don't have any worries. As long as you got a good footer down here, you got no worries of those floor joists or that deck going anywhere. But you do got to have your ledger board attached properly also. So let's talk a little bit about the details. This is some of your details about your frame here. So imagine that this is your house. This is your floor joist in your house. At the edge of your floor joist in your house is a rim board that wraps around. You got your foundation wall here. When we attach our ledger board, which is the flat board that lays on the house that your floor joists are going to attach to, there's going to be joist hangers all across it. It attaches to your house. It should be bolted directly to the house. So when you're attaching that ledger board, you want to make sure that you've got a piece of flashing on top that goes behind your siding and then on top of the ledger board. If you have siding on your house, you want to make sure that flashing goes behind your siding and on top of your ledger board. That keeps water from getting right down in that little crack right there behind your ledger board, and then it'll go down, find those bolt holes, and eventually integrate into your house and rot that baseboard out. I've seen it many times. People fail to put that one piece of flashing in there that basically saves everything, because if it's not in there, you're definitely going to have problems. It might not be now, it might not be 5 years, but eventually there's going to be some rotting and decaying, and you could actually have your walls could start sagging, and major problems with your house could arise from not having that one piece of flashing in there. And if you have a brick home, then that needs to definitely be sealed up with lots of caulk right there where that piece of flashing would be. You wouldn't put flashing in because it's brick, so you're going to caulk the snot out of it. Put plenty of caulk in there and do it upright. Now, another thing is when you're attaching your ledger board, you want to make sure you get plenty of lags or bolts all the way through your material of your house into that rim board that's behind your brick or your siding. So you're going to bolt that on, plenty of bolts. And then again, there's your double beam. There's two 2x10 sandwiched together and your 6x6 posts. So basically that's the frame of your deck right there. And I'm going to show you a beam detail right here. So this is the right way to notch a post and install your beam. So basically you got your 6x6 post right here. So this is your post. It's been notched right up through, and then these are your 2x10s that sit on top of this notch right here. So like I said, there's no way that can settle or sag or anything. You got your 7-inch carriage bolts. Make sure they're galvanized carriage bolts or stainless steel. If you can't put a regular zinc carriage bolt up there, or it's gonna rust. So you got your two 2x10s right here. You got your carriage bolts running through. You got your post right here that's been notched. Bolt those together, and it really can go nowhere. One other thing to look for is your footer. Now you're not gonna, on a reface, you're not probably gonna see all this, but you're gonna want to look at the bottom of your 6x6 post. You're gonna want to look where that post hit the ground is usually where it rots at, right there. So you're going to want to look at that and make sure that's not rotting and decaying on you. The post might look great up top, might look great halfway down, but a lot of times right where it hits the dirt is where it's rotting at, especially if your dirt is not tapered like this for drainage. If it's tapered the other direction down and it's holding water in there, you're going to have some serious rot in there. So this is basically what a footer should look like if you're building a deck. You want to be in this area, you want to be about 32 inches down from grade to the bottom of your hole. And you want your hole to be about 16 inches from side to side. You want to put 8 inches of concrete in the bottom of the hole. And then you set your post on top of the concrete and then backfill it with dirt. That's how we do our footers. That's the proper way the building department likes us to do it like that. You want to make sure you taper these off right here to get good drainage around your post. A post will last a good long time. It'll really help it out a lot if you taper this here. If it's tapered the other way, again, that's a big deal. It's going to hold water, it's going to rot. Make sure you guys take your time to do that. And if your deck's already installed, go around and make sure that you build up some dirt, mount some dirt around the bottom of your post so that it sheds water properly. Your deck will last a long time that way, a lot longer. All right, those are a few things that I wanted to talk about with reface or replace. Some places that I want you to look, if you're looking at your deck and you're thinking about going to reface, I want you to go underneath your deck. I want you to find the ledger board. Your ledger board is the board that's attached to the house, should be bolted to the house. Take a look at the ledger board. Take a look at how it's bolted. Does it have enough bolts? There should be at least one bolt in between each floor joist. And where the joints are, there should be two, one on top, one on bottom. A lot of times we'll stagger them high on between one joist, stagger low between the next, high, low, all the way across the ledger. Take a look at that ledger board, see if it's bolted properly. We can always add bolts, so if it's not bolted properly, that doesn't mean it's a game changer. We can add bolts. Look for rot, look for decay on that board. If that board looks like it's decaying at all, looks like there's any rot in it, we need to basically replace the frame because everything's riding on that one board, and there's no easy way to replace that one board without ripping all your floor joists and everything out. So another thing on your ledger board to look at would be your floor joist hangers. So there should be joist hangers on your ledger board around every floor joist. Make sure those are attached properly. Make sure there's plenty of nails in the ledger board. There should be two or four nails into the actual joist to the side. Make sure all your nails are in. Make sure your joist hangers aren't rotten, rusting, and decaying away on you. If they are, those could be replaced also. Really, the ledger board rotting that's definitely something that we've got to get that off there and put a new frame up. If your ledger board's rotting, your 6x6 posts, you need to go out and check those out where they meet the ground, and then also where the beam connects to the post. We need to make sure that that's bolted properly, make sure it's attached to the post properly, make sure there's no rot or decay in that area, and if there is, we need to address it, see if it's something that can be fixed or does it need to be tore out and replaced. Again, you're putting a lot of your money into your floors, into your rails, into your other things. Have your contractor quote it out and tell you what your price would be to replace the frame. You might be surprised. It might not be as much as you think to go ahead and just replace that frame. But then again, if it can save you money and it's in good shape, we are willing to go ahead and do a reface for you. But we want to make sure that we're not setting you up for failure. That's the main thing. So you want to look at those couple areas for rot and decay. Make sure your joist layout. Make sure you got, if you're doing a wood deck, you should have 16 inches on center or less with a 5/4 board. Sometimes on a 2x4 or a 2x6 floor, you can go 2 foot on center. I never recommend 2 foot on center for anything. If I was going to be replacing that deck, I would probably at least drop a joist in between each one of those, making them 1 foot on center. If you're doing PVC decking, a lot of times we want to go 1 foot on center for the PVC decking. PVC tends to sag and raise a little bit like a roller coaster. So if you don't have adequate floor joists underneath there, it's just going to wave on you too much and it's going to feel bouncy. So we want to make sure you got 12 inch on center if you're doing PVC. Want to make sure you got plenty of blocking in underneath the rails. If you're going to do like an aluminum rail that is a top mount, mounts to the top of your deck, lag down through the decking, make sure there's a block underneath that you can attach that to so that rail lasts a good long time. And then there are some preventative things that can be done while you got your floors and your rails off. They do make basically a tape. It's like a rubber tape that'll go along the top of the floor joist. If you're going to do a composite, a lot of times it's nice. We have been seeing a little bit of decay on the top of the floor joist. If you were to use that membrane, put it on top of your floor joist, it may give you some extra life out of those floor joists. So that's something you can do. It's always good to stain, paint, put some kind of sealer on that floor joist, especially on the top where the water lays. So while you get that flooring off there, go ahead and seal it up. Get some sealer on it. Either use that rubber membrane, use that sealer, use something there, and we need to definitely check the ledger board where the ledger meets the house. We want to make sure that flashing's in there. Or if it's a brick home, we want to make sure we put plenty of sealer, plenty of caulk in there. Silicone would be a good one to put in there, or a propylene-based sealer would be good. So that's some preventative things that can be done. And then go around also, again, make sure you mound that dirt up around your post. Take care of that. This is about it for me for what I got for you guys for today. But I just wanted to talk to everybody. Thank everybody for a great year. 2017 was awesome for us. It was our best year that we've had yet. We hope 2018 is going to be even better. I'd love to come out and give you guys free estimates. Jay wants to come out and give you free estimates. This is what we do. Like I said, we are the best deck builder in Cincinnati. We have become Cincinnati's favorite deck builder, and we really appreciate you guys, and we appreciate the business. Thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you soon.